Do you want
How
to
are
start?
you doing?
I'm not doing bad. How are you doing?
I'm alright. Thank you for asking.
That's nice.
Yeah.
What's up?
You sure?
Oh, Shabby. Yeah, I'm doing okay. I'm doing very well. I'm trying to get myself into it. Then
Yeah.
we go.
Cool.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Do you have something to say?
No.
You don't have anything to say.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy the wine?
It was pretty good.
It was pretty good.
Yeah. It's Moscato. Moscato is good.
This is the Yo Freeman Podcast with Mana Freeman. This is the Yo Freeman Podcast with Mana Freeman. Yeah, for me, I've heard stories of people moving abroad, and when you talk to them, they think they are just going to get rich overnight. Some come with big dreams of, working so hard in the first 6 months and building their first house in Ghana or wherever they came from. And then they come and then they realize that the dream is different from the reality here.
Yeah.
How has it been for you?
First of all, dream big.
Well,
Yeah.
Everybody has to dream big.
Whatever your goals or objectives are, dream big. But I think a certain level of reality check at least, is necessary for your sanity.
Yeah, I like that part for your sanity.
For your sanity, a certain level of being realistic is necessary. I wouldn't say, I've got that situation of what I ordered versus what I got.
Yeah.
Those funny videos on TikTok.
Right.
I wouldn't say my reality has been that way, only because I set myself up with a realistic expectation. But as you said, a lot of people out there have very crazy expectations of what moving abroad should be like.
Yep.
Or is like, right? And then they get here and they realize, oh my God, it's not exactly as, it is. So sometimes not even close as they imagined. Yeah. So it's heartbreaking when you hear those kind of stories where people are stranded, people are stressed out, they can't afford their bills, they can't afford, basic necessities, and they're stressed out, they're doing multiple jobs, or sometimes they can't even find a job. At all. So yeah, what I ordered versus what I got is real when you're moving abroad if you don't research and manage your expectations. So yeah, that's the gist of what I have to say about that. But we can get into the details a bit more. As I'm talking now, I'm remembering one of your friends.
Yeah. Well, I said when we started, I've actually had a lot of people come in, and I've picked a lot of people from the airport, and they carry crazy dreams in their bags. Like, they talk about these big dreams, and you've been here for a couple of months and years, and then you go like, dude, what dreams are these guys talking about that I don't even know about? But I guess every one of us was also there. Yeah. Back home, you think abroad is all rosy, and then once you come here, you're automatically going to be a millionaire, and everything is sorted out. But I think what most people don't acknowledge is the sacrifice, the things that you have to trade in order to even have the bare minimum. Yeah. It's something that people don't really realize. And for me, the funny part is people who have experienced it go on social media or wherever you find themselves, and they try to let people know the reality out there that yes, it's good, it's nice, but it's not what you are thinking.
Yes.
And you find thousands of people, like troops of people coming for you. Yeah. If it's that bad, why are you still there? I remember saying it to a couple of people back then that if it's that bad, why are you still there?
Yeah, 100%. So as you're talking to me now, as we're talking now, I'm remembering, remember that friend of ours that called me, we were in the car coming to the house, and they called me telling me they want to move abroad. 100%. I was like, oh, okay. And now I've gotten so many of such calls that I have a format of delivering what to expect, right? I have it sort of laid down. When somebody calls me, they want to tell me, they're telling me that they want to move abroad. There's certain level of questions I ask them, like, do you have a job in Ghana? How much is the job paying you? Are you coming here alone? Do you have a partner?
Right.
Are you married? Do you have a girlfriend, a serious girlfriend, boyfriend? If you're moving, what is the plan with that? Because these things matter when you're moving abroad. There's something that you said is like fetish stuff that once it comes on people, nothing you say they want to hear.
Yeah.
They want to move abroad.
Unless they've experienced it.
Yes.
Like mostly I tell people that there are two ways of learning.
Yeah.
It's either you try to understand whatever that life is teaching you or someone is teaching you, or you wait till you experience whatever that is going on.
Yeah.
And for me, I mostly tell people that it's best learning by understanding than learning by the experience of, facing the reality.
Because by then you would have gone through fire.
Exactly.
So with this friend of mine I'm talking about, and I know you know this story, I'm only sharing because, there are people who are listening to us who don't know this story. We did a breakdown of his income. And at the end of the day, we realized that in Ghana, with the money he's making, he's able to save at least 40% of his income every single month. And I'm like, there are very few people here who live in Australia who at the end of the month are able to save up to 40% of their salary.
Right.
Even as couples who are working together. Both of them are working. Both of them are living in here, working full time. But it's unlikely that they are saving up to 40% of their salary or their income. Why? Bills. And most people would say, oh, you're earning dollars, but I'm spending in dollars.
Exactly. Yeah.
Literally, like, I'm not spending in cedis.
You're not spending in Kenyan shillings. You're not spending naira. You're spending
I'm
dollars.
literally spending the money. Yeah. I'm spending the equivalent of what I'm making, quite literally. So it's not as simple as you come in. You're building a life, and people don't understand that when you move out of your country, whatever country you're moving out of, you may have been a mid upper class or lower class or mid class, whichever class you were in. It doesn't automatically change just because you moved abroad.
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
You are going to come into the system and you're probably going to be middle or low class, especially when you've moved first, because your income is limited. It's not like there is money coming from daddy or mommy. They are taking money from you. Your siblings are taking money from you. Your friends are taking money. Your friends, cousins, grandpa's, grandma's friend.
Of course,
is also taking money from you. Literally, somebody could have a toothache and they'll be texting me for money. Not that I'm complaining, but it's a fact. It's a reality. The moment you move, generations and generations are automatically taking money from you. But you are probably middle or low class here. Your life is very probably basic, like nothing serious.
Right.
All the money you're making, you're either putting it in rent or bills, insurance, taxes. Oh my God, I can't go on and on about that, right?
So what really is the trade-off? For me, one of the issues that I have with moving abroad is, leaving your family, living a life that you've built over 25 years, 20 years. Some people even move abroad in their 40s, and you've basically made all your good friends, everything, the bad friends, the enemies, the people that you are trying to cut off this 31st December, you've made all of them back in your country. And now you leave everything behind to start all over again. For me, sometimes I think that trade-off isn't really worth it. I mean, in life, you sometimes go through life doing that trade-off and measuring the opportunity cost. So if you are missing out on family time, you are missing out on friends, you are missing out on every little thing that you grew up knowing, and there is basically nothing going on in your life. I mean, for me, that's where I have an issue, and that's the part that I think most people back home don't realize, that these people who moved abroad, they basically left everything that they know, their friends, their family, to start all over again. So if such a person is on social media telling me the reality, I should probably give an ear, or, try to learn from whatever that they are saying to strategize or whatever with my life.
Yeah. And going off on what you just said, one of my biggest fear, and I don't feel like I say it ever, is what if, our parents are old and God forbid anything happens to them, but what if we are not there and they're gravely ill to the point of, because they are old, they're getting older. God forbid it shouldn't happen.
if you move abroad in your 20s, there's a higher chance that your parents might be in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s.
Even our parents are in their 60s. What if, the unwanted happens?
Yep.
And I miss out on them, which means the last time I saw my mom or dad, the last time I hugged them,
will be 3 years ago. Yeah. And some people have been here 10 years ago and they've never gone back.
I'll never get to see them again. At least not alive. I'll never get to hug them again. I'll never get to, play with them again, ever. And that is scary.
It is.
It is very scary. It's something I think about from time to time. I like to shake it off. Go like, no, don't think that way. But the reality is it could happen.
That's the trade-off that I'm talking about. I mean, what is it really worth to, miss out on all those times, like 5 years, 10 years without seeing your parents, your siblings, people that you grew up with? And, the reason why I like to talk about this is because I think somewhere last year I lost a very good friend who made dresses for my engagement, and we kept talking about my clothing line, trying to start a clothing line, and then all of a sudden I wake up one day and then he's gone. So it means that the last time that I saw him
was at your engagement, our wedding, actually
3 years ago, and I'm never seeing him again. I think most people don't really understand the propensity of the whole thing.
Yes,
and it's really hard.
It is a very scary and terrifying thought, and it may seem like we are bashing the idea of travel abroad or whatever, but my perspective is I want to give you the reality of what is out here, so that if you're deciding to move, you manage your expectations.
Right.
You know what to expect. For instance, it's very unlikely you're going to make friends. We have made friends because my husband is very chatty and he's always meeting people and making friends. But really, as a single person coming out here, most people are, especially with dating, even things like dating, marriage and stuff like that, it's almost like you will be dragged back a few years. Not that there is a timeline for getting married 100%. However, if you are planning on doing it soon and you don't have any person seriously engaged with, the reality is it's so much harder here. Most of the black men, black women are either dating each other or they are just out there being dogs. They are not deciding to be with anyone seriously. And so you're left with white dudes, and most of them, they don't want you like that, right? Some do. But most of them don't.
Well, you can't really tell.
No, actually, I told you I had, some white dude hit on me. But like, it's once in a blue moon. It's not something that is going to be happening that often. You know what I mean? So there is a limited opportunity to mingle, to get into a serious relationship. So it means that your chances of landing
a partner reduces drastically.
Almost immediately reduces.
And these are stuff that people don't really think about when they are moving. Moving abroad. I think people don't really give it a thought until they come here or they go to whatever country that they are traveling to. And then the reality hits that, so this is the mess that I find myself in. And some people even go to the stand of, asking people to marry for them back home
in Ghana and bring them.
Not just Ghana, like every other place.
Wherever you are.
That trade-off to me is really, really hard.
It's crazy. It's to think about it. You don't really think about these things when you're trying to travel. Not really. There is also the issue of depression. It's one of the most common things, especially amongst immigrants, because you're so isolated. The reason being that you're working 24/7. You need to work, especially when you've just landed and on a student visa or something like that. You don't have no money to be laying around. You're working quite literally some are working 18 hours a day. They go in the morning, they come at night, they sleep, they get up, they go.
So your life is basically work.
That's literally sleep and work. and they come home, they're literally in their room because you're probably in a shared accommodation with an Indian, an Asian, a white person. Like, you share no form of culture with them. No matter how social you are, it's still hard to build that connection because you all are from so vast backgrounds and cultures, right? So there is that. And on top of you working like a donkey, especially when you first landed in the first year or two, there is pressure from home, as I've mentioned. So your whole life is thinking about how much to make money or how to make money, how much you need to make, the bills you need to pay. And if you came here as a student, your school fees, that's a whole other thing. Yeah. Especially unless you're on a scholarship, which is congratulations on that. But really, your life is quite literally work, spend the money, sleep, work, spend the money, and it's a cycle, and it can get to so many people. The depression is crazy. So there's something we've been doing, the both of us. We were lucky because we came together. So even though there was some form of I missed home, I'm isolated, we still had each other. We still went to the park, went to the river, went somewhere.
Well, that's the advantage of people traveling from wherever country that they are coming from to abroad. Especially when they are two. You have someone that you can count on your bad days. You have a shoulder to lean on, and I feel like that is really helpful. It goes a long way, in making sure that you are grounded in the place that you find yourself. Stay with us. The conversation will continue shortly. Stay with us. The conversation will continue shortly. But for me, going off that, another fear, it's really hard for me to think about it. Like, whether you are two or you are one, I think the concept of a God taking care of people actually makes so much sense in the life of an immigrant. Because now I keep imagining, like I keep thinking of scenarios of an immigrant, getting really sick, and at that point I don't really know how they're going to
who's gonna take care of you. How are you gonna survive, especially if you're alone here? Exactly.
And you hardly hear those stories that someone, so I keep thinking about what kind of God are immigrants serving, because
we don't get sick.
They don't get sick.
People getting really sick. I feel like when we come, we are in a fight and flight move.
Your adrenaline,
especially in the first year. You need to survive. So your body is going and going and going and going and going and going. And some people, they keep going until they literally break.
Right.
Some people, they literally keep going until they break. And for physically,
me,
you see them and you see that they're breaking.
It's hard to
recover,
to fix yourself back again. Because
really, some people just run on adrenaline until you see people. I had people at work that were just, they had stuff in their bags, like in their car. They lived in their car, literally. Not that they didn't have a room. They had a room. But they were showering at work,
paid rent,
getting dressed.
In their cars.
Yes, they get dressed at work and they go to the other job. And then they finish at the other job, they take a shower, then they come to the other job. Quite literally, they will do that for like 6 days or 6 days out of the week, and then they'll go home for one day. People do it. And you may think it's extreme, but their position means they need, especially if you're a student here and you're single, you have to pay your fees. Otherwise, you have to go back. And that was the point of all of it. So you need to make the money.
Hook or crook.
Hook or crook. And people are killing themselves doing that.
The part that I still don't understand, that's why I keep going off it. They don't get sick.
Yes, adrenaline.
Because at that point, if you get sick, who's taking care of your bills?
Yeah.
You probably don't have anybody here, no family, friends. And even if you had family, friends, people have, life is busy. People have their own bills to pay. They have their own, work to go or whatever. So who is going to sit by your bedside to take care of you? And at that point, you go back home to treat yourself. And then when you treat yourself, you come
coming back?
So it's
depression
really hard.
Is real, very real, especially amongst immigrants. First generation immigrants.
But how many of them even go to see therapists? They are busy
therapy for where? People don't have money for therapy.
No, I don't think you've got bills to pay, and therapy is a second on the list of priority. Probably
it's not
down
even on there.
I'm not sure it's part of the yeah. So
it's not a priority. But that being said, to be just to be balanced and give you a very broad perspective of what you can expect. These are some of the things that I would say is good about traveling, especially to Australia.
Yeah.
Is the fact that I've met more Africans in Australia than I did back home.
Yeah, that's true. Back in
it's
Africa,
incredible. I've met people from Kenya, South Africa, Nigeria, Botswana, so many different people, and we've made some great friends, had some great experiences, and not just from Africa, but across the globe. Actually, Asia, you have so many Nigerian and Pakistani friends, which is incredible, and that I feel like that might never have happened if we had not traveled. But then again, that could happen if you are traveling for leisure. You don't necessarily need to live in Australia to experience that. You can just travel for leisure.
That's the best part about traveling abroad. Not just abroad, anywhere that you find yourself, the kind of exposure that you get that you could never have if you lived back in your country. Like I keep saying sometimes, when you live in your country and you live with your people, it's like you living in a bubble. You literally, eat food that everybody eats. You speak your own language. You see people who look like you, sound like you, who believe the things that you believe. And you think that is your whole world. But once you travel and you start being open-minded, you realize that there is more to the world than you know.
You thought,
and for me, that really humbles me. The last time we traveled to Indonesia and I went out to eat alone, I think I ate so much food that I started vomiting. God. A lot of people came to me trying to help me. They didn't know my name. They didn't know my religion. They didn't know the stuff that I believe. But at that point, I was just another human suffering and every one of them wanted to help me. And for me, that is the beauty of traveling and seeing different cultures, different people, and, different things that they believe in, different ways of seeing stuff. And I think it also shifts your mentality. It makes you very strong.
And tolerance.
Yes. Yeah, it gives you that ability to tolerate, different range of things that you are not familiar to or you're not used to. And for me, that's the beauty about traveling abroad. What do you think?
I really like the part where you mentioned tolerance. Because to be completely honest with you, I feel like traveling has taught me so much about me as a person by experiencing other people. I realized I'm not as patient as I thought. I'm not as kind as I thought. I'm not as whatever as I thought. That there is still room for me to grow, right? Because I saw it in so many different religions, cultures, just people being great. And you see, like, oh, wow. I've been very myopic in how I saw the world. And it's a good experience to have. Talking about food, you segueing onto your food bit. I've eaten so many different kinds of foods.
True.
So many. Food from everywhere. I like food generally.
Food from every part of the world.
Every part of the world you can find in Australia. Vietnamese, Chinese, Indonesian, Filipino, any kind of food, Aboriginal, islander food. I've just tasted so many different kinds of food, and it's actually it's a great experience to have. But on a more serious note, I feel like career-wise, for me personally, there is some moves that I've made that might have been a bit more difficult to make if I were in Ghana. I don't know if you agree with that.
Yeah, that's why people travel abroad sometimes, to look for some of these opportunities.
I've been able to, successfully switch from one career or actually it wasn't a career, just one space of study and into another completely different one, successfully, that I feel like if I was in Ghana, it might have taken me longer to do or might have never even happened in the first place. So that level of opportunity, I believe, is something we need to highlight. The fact that there are opportunities in Australia, or I don't know, let's talk about Australia because that's where I know, right? Yeah. There are opportunities here for you to switch. But the sad thing is, most immigrants don't take those opportunities. And I know we are on the positive notes here, but it's sad because, as I was mentioning earlier, there's a fight and flight mode that I was talking about. People come here, they get into the mentality of, I just want to make my money, which is good, fantastic, great, hallelujah. Make your money, make your buck, right? But they get so much into that their vision becomes so myopic that they don't see all other opportunities around them that they could be using to make even more money while being fulfilled. So they end up doing jobs that they hate. They end up doing jobs that they don't enjoy, not even enjoy, they hate. They don't want to be there, but they feel like they need to do that in order to make money. They don't see all the other opportunities. So that is also a trap that people don't realize. When you move abroad, you can fall in, because the people that have lived here for so long, that's what they've been doing. These jobs, that menial jobs, that's what they've been doing. So when you come, they're going to advise you, oh, do that, do this. Because they again, their perspective is so narrowed down that they don't see the opportunities around them that is quite literally surrounding them.
That's what happens when you make money an integral part of your life. Like the underlying part of your life, everything should be about money. And going off that, I sometimes blame immigrants, and I sometimes give them the benefit of the doubt. There's so much pressure on you from home. There's so much pressure on you to pay the bill. So, I mean, if there is a go-to job that easily gives you the money, you don't have to strive hard for it. You don't have to say, I mean, if you're looking for a professional job as an engineer, you probably have to put in 500 CVs and applications and stuff before you land that job. So if there is a job that I can just go to, get that job, pay the bills, sort my mom and my friends asking for money from Africa back, then I'll just do it. And most people go into that thinking that they are doing it for some months, a year or two, and then it becomes a thing. It becomes a routine and a habit that they cannot break free from.
Yes. So and that's the sad part there. That's the sad part, because you come with these big dreams. You want to do big things. Hallelujah. Right? But then you come in and you end up settling for the bare minimum.
Right.
Why? Not because the opportunities are not there, but because they get trapped in their own minds and you mentioned the fact that these jobs, the engineering jobs or whatever, again, no job is underneath any job. Do what you need to do to survive. As long as you are happy, as long as you actually want to do that job, please do it. Right. But that's the thing. You're living a life as if you're not even living. You're just existing to work. The work that you hate. You get up to go to work in the morning and your heart is pounding. You're scared. You're just hating driving to the work. So what's the point?
To be honest, I think I was on the other side of the fence back in the days, but like staying here for long, talking to people, meeting people, I'm sort of realizing that it's not totally the fault of immigrants to be in that sector. I mean, everyone is responsible for where they find themselves in life, but sometimes I like to take the blame off them a little bit. The system is also created in such a way to keep immigrants where they are.
Okay, let's get into that.
Yes, so
that's interesting.
If you were an engineer back in Ghana and then you go here, you are an engineer back in India and you go here, it's harder for you to even land the interview. And once you land the interview, you need to prove a point. One, there is that language barrier. You go into interviews and people ask you, how is it that you speak good English? How are you going to be talking to the client? So before you even step foot into the office, your name, your language, or your background has probably taken some points from you. So you find some immigrants coming in here and changing their names from their local names like Anane Kwame and choosing names like Freeman, Joseph Freeman, just so someone sees their CV and think, okay, it might be white or it might be a native person. Let's bring the person in before they realize. So it's harder, and not everyone will have that,
that resilience to
go through it to land that particular job that aligns with their vision. So in the end, they go like, okay, I've been trying to get that job. It's not happening. I just applied for this construction job, and it just called me in a week. I didn't even have to do an interview. I just stick with it for 6 months, stick with it for a year, and then before they realize they are that 55-year-old man with, broken waist, broken body, and they still have to catch the bus to go to work in that winter. So, I mean, it's hard. The only thing that I can say to people listening to us right now is you don't really have to give up. It's hard. The system is against you. We don't have to argue against that. It's
no, 100%. Yes, the system is rigged against us.
And it's actually not created for you. It's someone's system. I mean, you lived 25 years of your life in a place. You spoke different language, different sense of humor, different ways of answering questions. And now you find yourself, it's like you were born today and you're expected to start running immediately.
Yeah.
You don't have to crawl. You don't have to walk. You start running immediately.
Yeah.
So what you have to do is you just have to double up, because this is someone's system. They've lived here 25 years of their life. They know the system. They know the intricacies. They know everything. You don't. So you basically have to run. If you don't have that resilience or that passion to keep going, then you're eventually going to be stuck in that job that 50 years time you'll still be doing it and still be complaining every day. Stay with us. The conversation will continue shortly. Stay with us. The conversation will continue shortly.
Yeah, that is such a good point. Like, it's such a clear picture of what is actually happening to most immigrants. And again, no job is bad as long as you're happy and fulfilled doing it, right? At the end of the day, it's a job. You go in, you put your hours, you come out, no matter what kind of job it is. However, is it stimulating you intellectually? Is it? Are you using your brain? Are you actually doing something that makes you feel like, you're alive, you're contributing to society, as opposed to you just going through life, whatever comes your way. So that's an excellent point. So the bottom line is, if you're going to move abroad, understand that there is the potential for you to get trapped that way, and prepare yourself for it.
It all has to do with
we
planning.
Prepared ourselves to some extent for it, in the sense that we had a very clear vision of what we wanted to go. Obviously, things didn't go exactly as we had planned, right? But because we had a vision of what we wanted to do, an exact plan, we didn't get trapped in, doing things that we didn't want. Eventually, we were able to move into things that we actually do enjoy, work. I do enjoy my work, and I think you enjoy your work.
Well, I want to be a stay-at-home husband.
Good for you.
I don't enjoy my work. I just want to stay at home and eat spicy chicken and make food.
He's just playing, by the way.
No, I'm serious.
You want to be a stay-at-home husband?
There are a lot of men out there who want to be stay-at-home husbands.
This is our next discussion for our next podcasts. So, how would that even look like?
It will shock you if you did a secret survey.
Watch out for that topic. If you did a secret survey,
stay-at-home husband, you'll be surprised how many people want to be stay-at-home husbands and just eat spicy chicken.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah, so anyway, going off it, I think if you're moving abroad as an immigrant from wherever country that you're moving from, the biggest part of it should be planning.
Yeah.
And for me, I believe that once you start planning, that's where you start finding the loopholes, the traps, the things that you don't realize until you get here.
Yes.
If you do your research, you consult people, you talk to people, you get to know some of this stuff, and it helps you plan really well.
Yes.
But if you don't, it means you are just digging your head into something that you don't know, and that is really, really dangerous.
And we see it a lot. Like we've been here for not even 3 years. People come, me in the next 2 years, I'm going to make money, build my house, do this, go and get married and bring the wife.
They are still carrying that
dream. And then later they go like, hey, I might end up dying, if I don't slow down. Yeah. And the thing is, it's not like they've been going so much that they have a bunch of money. No, they realize all the money they've been making is going to bills or taxes. The more money you make, the more taxes you pay. So they end up with they realize it themselves. So when people come I love the enthusiasm. I would advise you, Charlie, take your time, rest, sleep, eat well, don't kill yourself. But then eventually they don't listen, and then they realize, they're like, oh, okay. I'm like, okay.
If you don't die, you live another day to learn the lesson.
So listen to us. If you want to travel abroad again, the experience is good. You will meet amazing people. You will eat good food. Obviously, do better food than the one in Ghana. But like you eat different kinds.
No better food than the home. One people have back in their homes. And
than the one. I'm from Ghana, so no better food than my home. Because when my mom makes a talk, anyway. But at the end of the day, you need to understand that there are downsides to it, and just prepare yourself for it. Mentally plan to, and know that there's a big opportunity, because your family, you're living back home, your friends, your life, you literally are uprooting yourself from something you've grown out from. And that is not an easy, it's not as easy as it may seem. Even if you're introverted like myself, if you're introverted like myself, I'm not one to be outside often. So that is not something I'll say I miss. But I miss my parents. Sometimes I just want to hug my mom, but I can't.
Right.
Especially now, like if you're married, you're planning of having children. There's also that part. You have no village. It's literally you and your husband. Whereas in Ghana, I could drop we had kids, I could drop my kids off my mom and we could go for a trip or something.
Yeah.
That can't happen here. Nobody's going to take care of your kid. No. You need to pay someone to do that. And even that, you're scared that person might not take care of kids well.
And it costs an fortune. An arm and leg. So.
It costs a fortune to get someone to take care of your kids for like an hour or two so that you can go out on a date. So even if you're moving abroad, you need to plan for all these things. You need to realize that you can't just come here and get pregnant, because the hellfire you will experience by getting pregnant immediately you come here.
that would be very hard. I'm trying to imagine that, and that would be
you don't even know what you are doing with your life.
Man has put man on the moon, so I don't think any
you eventually go through it.
But
there are people who have done it, but like you will see fire
and you come out burnt with a lot of scars.
Make a guided decision. Do your research. Have a realistic view of what it is like when you move, not these fairy tales that we're sold, whatever.
Man must dream
big, go on dreaming.
Well, yeah,
but when you wake up, please do the research, okay? It's important.
Thanks for having this conversation, and it's always nice catching up and having some of these
catching up. We live in the same house.
Oh, we do?
Yes.
Oh, well then, bye.
You need Jesus. Bye. Chat later.
I hope you enjoyed this episode. To support our project, like, subscribe, and leave comments on all our conversations. Until we see you again, this is the Yo Freeman Podcast.